get absorbed in, and you are Sonic.
What's up, everybody? I'm Taylor Olmsted, and I want to welcome you back to No Repeat, a podcast where we pick 3 songs every week with no repeats and no do-overs to create a perfect playlist for every occasion life throws at you. Joining me are my co-hosts, Tyler Reed.
Hey, everybody. I ate a lot of Indian food right before we recorded this podcast, so I might pass out.
And Sean Evans.
And I just don't have stuff that's like that organic to say.
Just gotta talk about your life. Personally, I ate that.
Okay, so brown mustard or yellow mustard? Anybody have an opinion on this?
Depends on what I'm putting it on.
Same.
Oh, that's a good point. I'm a general mustard person, so if there's yellow there, I'll eat it. If there's brown there, I'll eat it. It doesn't really matter what it goes on.
Okay, what about mustard with your tuna salad?
I don't really eat tuna salad.
Yeah, hard pass.
But I don't think it would bother me though if it was on there.
Okay, what about potato salad?
What is your obsession with mayonnaise-based salads this week?
I was gonna say I usually eat salads that are composed primarily of actual vegetables, but I love where you're going.
That's how we know Tyler still lives in Ohio.
Well, we have tuna salad at work all the time, and we sometimes have potato salad at work. And then I actually just went to a burger place that had potato salad as a side option. It was very tasty.
Okay. So, but did you put mustard on it?
I mean, mustard was already was mixed in.
Oh, okay. I do know of that. I do know that is a thing.
It's part of the mixture.
So, Tyler, what was our challenge this week?
Wait, I'm not done yet. I have one more opinion, okay?
Okay,
go ahead.
I don't think you can put brown mustard on a coney.
No.
I don't think that's acceptable. I think you got to go with yellow.
It conflicts with the chili.
Yeah.
Don't put any mustard.
What? Are you serious?
I'll say it.
Oh, that's where you're wrong. You probably don't get onions either, do you?
Yeah, he probably just gets bun cheese dog. That's probably it.
Y'all need to back up.
Look at it. Now he's really insulted. He's so mad.
Take your boop. Back it up. Back it up. I like my Cody's. I eat them a very specific way because I go to Skyline, just for clarification.
Oh my god.
So I do get onion, but I also get the habanero cheese, and I get the oyster crackers, and I stick them into the coney, and it gives a little crunch. It's like putting potato chips in your sandwich.
See, I support all of this except for the not getting mustard. You just gotta get the mustard. If you're already 4/5 of the way there, just get the mustard.
It's just not... I feel like it's just another flavor. It already tastes like cinnamon.
Hashtag just get the mustard.
What is the deal with people that have to add stuff to the food that's already at its peak, you know? Do you insert pretzels into your turkey at Thanksgiving because it's not crunchy?
Oh, Sean, are we going to get into a Thanksgiving conversation? Because I do actually eat all of my things all together in one giant blob.
God,
I actually physically mix them up together into a giant turkey feast casserole, I suppose, if you want to get specific.
See, this is because he lives around it, so he Skyline and Gold Star are in abundance in Cincinnati where he lives, but for us out of towners,
we want to go back to the purest form.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We want to have a coney wrapped in La Rosa's pizza.
With Grater's ice cream on top. Yes, exactly.
That's the future liberals one. That's right.
Well, Tyler, what was our challenge this week?
This week, hip shooter Michael Kostick challenged us to find the perfect song for when we're hanging out on a rainy Sunday.
We talked about this a little bit before we started recording, but we scheduled this on the worst week ever. It's been the hottest week of the year on the whole eastern seaboard and most of the Midwest. I was sitting in my air-conditioned room with the ceiling fan on, staring out the window into just the blazing Atlanta summer, picking rainy songs. And it was really difficult. I feel like I just couldn't get myself quite into the rainy state of mind.
Unfortunately, we also picked the wrong week in Cincinnati to do this challenge because for several weeks we had a record consecutive days of consistent rain, and then now it's just nothing. I also had a hard time. It is currently 89 degrees, both outside and inside my apartment. So I have become a gelatin. So I don't know how I'm able to formulate words, but here we are. A Christmas miracle.
Yeah, it was a mixed bag this week. So right now, I think my car said it was like 95 when I was coming back from the store today, but I imagine it was probably a little bit hotter. But on Tuesday, we actually had flash flooding here. I don't know if you guys might have seen the pictures of like there was a metro station that looked like it had a waterfall that was coming down into it, and people that were like stranded on top of their cars because we got 3 inches of rain in 1 hour.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah. Sarah, my wife, texted me and she was like, "Oh, I'm going to go to this place, but I canceled because I looked outside and the water was just standing there." So she turned around and came home, and I was like, the next day I went and rode my bike down by this like creek/run that's down, and it like there's all these parks that line this creek, and everything was gone.
Wow.
Like it had just washed everything away. It was crazy. There are bridges that are like 20 feet off the ground, and you could see all the debris where the water had like come up over the bridge. It was just I don't think I've seen that much damage in a long time from that much moving water. I don't think I've really ever seen what a flash flood actually can do, or seen one in real life. Hopefully I'll be really lucky and never have to see one. But like, it was scary because people live down there, not too far from that creek, and it's only a little creek, maybe like 5 or 6 feet wide and maybe only 6 inches deep at its deepest point. And it probably got up to like 10 or 11, 12 feet deep in some places. It's crazy.
Scary stuff, man.
So I was helped out a little bit this week because I could recollect that. But
for me at least, when I listen to music on a rainy day, I'm always looking for like, I don't know how to describe it, almost like warm tones in the music, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't necessarily need to be a particular genre or tempo or style, but it's something about the tonal quality of it that I'm really looking for. I want music that feels kind of like it's insulating you from the rain outside. It's kind of like the warm blanket on a cold day effect, And I really like just kind of like being inside and, like having the lights on, playing some music and kind of looking out the window, and it just feels like you're in this little insulated island from the rain. And so that's really what I was going for this week, was I was trying to find like songs that are kind of enveloping, that kind of wrap around you and have a nice warm, like comforting, calming feeling to them. But what was your guys' strategy?
I thought about songs that I wanted to listen to in the winter when it was cloudy or rainy, because we don't really get that much snow here. But that's kind of where I went to, because it feels like there's a particular kind of music that I gravitate towards, a little bit softer, a little bit more, actually a little bit longer. As I was looking at my B-sides, I know I have the very strict 4-minute rule here, but the song my pick this week is actually like 6 minutes long. And I don't think that I mind longer songs as much on rainy days because you don't got anything else to do. You can just sit inside, relax, actually listen to some music. You're probably trying to snuggle up and stay warm. That leads itself in a different direction than if you're, having music that's trying to pump you up. You're trying to get out of the house quickly. You're trying to get out of the sun. You're trying to have a party. It's a very different mindset, very different mood.
So I would say that between all of us, I think Taylor and I have the songs that are kind of closest together in terms of tonal quality. But what's interesting is that Taylor had a completely different reason than I did for why he picked his song. Because I think for me, I was almost trying to embrace the kind of melancholy of the rain. I really wanted to just kind of have like some catharsis, just kind of, I've been trying to like let my emotions just kind of happen more. Because I feel like at the start of this podcast, I was very like, I wanted to be pumped up, fun, exciting. It was almost a very one-dimensional experience. But I think really over time, I've kind of grown. I mean, how long have we been to this show? We're not even at a year yet, right?
No, not yet. Almost, but not yet.
So, like, I feel like my listening habits have changed quite a bit, even in this short period of time. I was kind of just thinking about what kind of songs felt sad or had like a sort of like I don't know. There's probably
like a wistfulness.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was going for.
but I kind of want there to be a little bit of like, I want it to still be a little up tempo, you know? I still want it to feel, have some energy to it, because I didn't want something that was totally like completely melancholy, because I think, I feel like it was kind of influenced by the decade. I kind of chose a song kind of like in the 90s, early 2000s. I feel like there's a certain sort of tonal quality, like a certain kind of like sound that just reminds me of like the rain or wet. I don't know. There's something about just, I don't know, like the beat, like the drum beats, you know, maybe like sort of like the orchestration of the piece. I don't know. There's just something about like the 90s like electronic music that just kind of has like a certain quality that kind of reminds me of Rain.
Yeah, I get that. I think it's something about the way the drums are treated for me.
Yeah, it's definitely the drums. I think the drums is the biggest factor.
Well, Tyler, I think we should actually start with your song this week.
This week I chose Let Go by Frou Frou. So one of the songs I wanted to pick was I wanted to do Hide and Seek by Imogen Heap, and I was like, wait, there's another project that she had, and there was a song that felt real sad, and I had to like scour the internet. I was like, oh, it's Frou Frou, and for some reason the song has always been like a sort of like it's kind of happy, it's kind of sad, you know, it's kind of embracing. I don't know. It's. I haven't really reflected on this song specifically because I literally like slapped it in like a couple hours before we finished because it just suddenly hit me. I was like, this is the song I want to do. But I think, like I said kind of before, it's kind of like just kind of embracing the feeling of sadness and just kind of dealing with it. And I don't know, I just think that musically, I kind of like how maybe like between like the drums and like the subtle like synth parts. It kind of like sounds kind of like Rain, like different kind of hits of the Rain, and that's kind of fun. I kind of like that. Not that that's like why I picked it, but I think it's I was reflecting on it, and that's kind of
the snare drum hits on this in particular almost sound like raindrops hitting the roof of your car, right? It's just so muted that it has that kind of like muffled rain sound, which I really like. The synth textures are really interesting. There's a lot of layers in here. I think it's deceptively simple because you're right. It feels kind of subtle and quiet. But then if you take this song and listen to it on like speakers as opposed to headphones, I feel like you really get all of the layers of the synth. There's a bass line going. There's kind of a pad synth. There's the main melody. And then there's these accent synths that kind of phase from the left ear to the right and back again. And they're doing their own thing that's just kind of existing on top and complementing Imogen's vocals. It's a really interesting layered song that I think is also just simple enough melodically to be catchy. I hadn't listened to the song in probably like 10 years before you put it in here, but after listening to it once, it was all immediately back in my head. I think it's a testament to her abilities as a songwriter, and I can't remember the guy's name that's the other half of Frou Frou with her, but he does a really great job on these instrumentals. I'm really impressed with this. I need to revisit this album because the song is really cool.
No, Taylor, you bring up really good points about this, that electronically it does sound really cool. And I like that there is a really driven, maybe overdriven bass, but it also sounds like there's a stand-up bass or possibly like a cello.
It kind of sounds like that, right?
That adds like a nice resiny feel to it, which almost complements the synth really well because you have that like buzzy sound of the resin with the fizz of any kind of synth beat, and that makes it, I think it adds a really nice level of depth there that when we go to your pick is not totally representative of that artist, which is fine in contrasting the two. But I don't know if this song will stick with me all the time. Like, I think it's really good and I like listening to it, but I don't know if I'll remember this song outside of the playlist.
Interesting.
But it does have a very rainy vibe, and I like that about it. Like, it's not like I would turn it off if it came on. It just doesn't, there's something that just doesn't, it doesn't fall in my category of iconic songs.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say iconic.
And I haven't really listened that much to Frou Frou or Imogen Heat, so I have to investigate more. But I'm not turned off, but I'm not in love.
No, I get that. It's a really great song, but I wouldn't say it's like there's a reason that Hide and Seek is her most popular song. Like, it's a much more memorable track than this.
But would also be, I don't know, there's just something about that song in particular that just doesn't feel like, I'm like, is this really the Rain song?
No, it's the getting dramatically shot in a soap opera song, obviously.
Right. And that's kind of the reason why I didn't pick it. Because I was like, and the fact that this was on like the Garden State soundtrack also kind of like tempered it a little bit. And I was like, I haven't watched that movie, but I know it's a movie that people have.
Oh, it's a great movie. You should watch it.
I probably should watch it. It would probably make me feel how the song makes me feel, if I had to guess.
Yes, actually, accurate.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I think there's something about it that I feel like I always understand why Sean doesn't necessarily not like my songs, but he's like, it feels like they don't go anywhere. And I'm like, but I like the part where they don't go anywhere. I like how it's just, it's just the same thing over and over again. And
you want to meditate on a mood, whereas Sean wants to go on a journey.
Yeah, I want to be on a train. Sean wants to climb a mountain. Or shot out of a catapult, if we're talking about logistics.
Accurate.
Anyway.
Well, do we want to do mine next, since it's kind of in the same realm, but different?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This week I chose Porcelain by Moby. I feel like I have to redeem Moby after I picked one of his ambient tracks way early on in this playlist.
I forgot about that.
How could you forget?
Porcelain is one of Moby's most famous songs. It's off of his best-selling record, which is Play from 1999. And I think if you were ever to like pick one song that really kind of sums up Moby's aesthetic, you would probably pick Porcelain. It has a lot of the stereotypical things that he does. It's reliant on a breakbeat. It has a pad synth. It has a string sample. There's a really pronounced piano line. It has his deadpan vocals, but it also has a sampled vocal. Like, it ticks a lot of the Moby boxes for me, which is part of the reason I wanted to put it on the playlist. The other reason is this song has such a beautiful melancholy to it. It's not necessarily like a sadness in the way that I think a lot of Moby songs can be very, very sad. This song is beautiful, but it's about a sad topic. And I think that's that's partially how I feel on a rainy day. It's like it's beautiful, but it's also a little sad, or a little bit of a downer. And it kind of puts you in this introspective place where you're maybe just like sitting around not doing a whole lot. And those are the times that I find myself going back to songs like Porcelain, that they make me think, they make me slow down and kind of like have a moment for myself. I like that there are a lot of layers to this song, but not so many that it's complicated. Like, a couple of listens and you've pretty much figured this song out. But it has just enough going on to kind of push you through and to really like pull you into its mood and into its aesthetic for the 4-minute runtime. Also, that line, "Tell the truth, you never wanted me, tell me," is like one of the most beautiful things that I think you could end a verse with. Like, it's just so heartbreaking. I love it.
I saw this pick and I was like, oh dang. I should have picked this song. Because it's kind of the same thing I was going for. I was like, this is almost verbatim, like, because it's synthy, it's got a nice muted like drum beat, it's got these orchestral moments, you know, it's got like some vocals that are mostly inaudible. It's, I don't know, there's like, again, it just kind of feels melancholy. It just kind of feels like very cathartic and very sort of embracing the sadness. And I'm like, So like, I guess my question maybe is what is the warmth?
I think the strings and the piano bring a lot of warmth to this song for me. It's not like
Do you feel like
it's not like some of that earlier Moby stuff, or even the Frou Frou, where you have a lot of synthesizer and very synthetic textures. There's a lot of organic sounds to this that feel warm to me.
Do you feel like the Frou Frou song also makes you feel warm?
Less so.
Less so? Okay. I know that there's something about these songs that make me feel more vulnerable than Protect. And I don't know why we're having the polar opposites of feelings.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Sean, do you feel...
Particularly because this song is kind of about vulnerability. I don't know why. It makes me feel protected. That's interesting. I don't know.
Well, Sean, do you feel vulnerable or do you feel protected when you listen to these songs?
I think the Frou Frou song, I feel a little bit more protected, but I'm really indifferent to Porcelain. Like, and I should clarify. I don't mean I'm indifferent to like the song. I don't have any feelings about it. Porcelain doesn't make me feel warm, or it doesn't make me feel cold, because it inhabits in my mind like a mega hit. So it kind of.
Oh, we've had this discussion before with, I forget what song it was, where it was like a song so popular that it exists in its own place.
Yeah, like it doesn't, it's like good. You know what I mean? Like, you don't, adjective to describe Porcelain, it's a good song. So if you're down, it makes you feel downer. If you feel good, it makes you feel better. And that's kind of why I feel like I don't have a really established opinion about whether it's warm or cold, because it just is. I guess if thinking about it now, if I had to say, it would probably be cold, because when I was doing research on this song, I read that Moby didn't like this song that much, and he actually didn't really want to put it on play.
Yeah,
Can you confirm that or deny that?
Yeah, he talks about that in his memoir of the same title, Porcelain.
Okay.
About how this was like kind of the throwaway track, and then it ended up being one of the biggest hits he ever wrote.
So I guess it kind of makes me feel cold, because it's a little like, if I had to pick, because he doesn't really like it himself. So it's difficult to say, well, he loved it, so it's all warm and fuzzy, when he didn't really like it. And even if it is number one, it doesn't make it that much more enjoyable to play, Like, what happens when your career is defined by something that you honestly didn't like, so every night you have to go out and play it?
What's weird to me is that I'm like, this is my favorite Moby song.
Really?
Yeah, I would listen to this versus most of his other things. I'm like, I just want more of this.
Then you should just download Play and listen to it all the way through, because it all kind of sounds like this. It's a lot of gospel and soul samples and piano.
I think about the Moby I enjoy is like Southside Moby.
Oh, well, that's also good. That's also a good song. I'm okay with that too.
And that's next album, 18, which brings a little more synth back into the mix.
Yeah, that's the Moby that I enjoy. This Porcelain is great, but it's not my Moby pick.
Fair enough. Anything else on the song itself, though?
Yeah, lots of synth. What is it with synth and Rain? Is it because it's fizzy and Rain is kind of fizzy?
I guess so. Makes sense.
Because I don't even have any synth-related songs on my B-sides list this week. And I feel like maybe that's because I'm just, I'm a very guitar-driven person. But at the same time, it's not like I don't appreciate synth.
All right, Sean, that leaves you. What do you have for us this week?
So this week, I chose Heroes by David Bowie.
That is that. For nothing will keep us together. We could steal time just for one day. We can be heroes forever and ever.
I really, really like listening to David Bowie in the fall and in the winter. I just feel like that's when David Bowie is king of the world for me. And I like rainy days, especially in the winter. Like, I would much rather have a rainy winter day or cloudy winter day than a sunny winter day. It just sets a better tone. And David Bowie's kind of upbeat rainy day songs, they feel like that for me. Like, there's a lot of drama that goes on, but there's a lot of happiness. There's a lot of complex emotions. And I feel like that's really sums up rainy Sundays for me, because I'm happy that I have the day off work. I can relax and do my own thing. But at the same time, I'm a little disappointed because I can't go outside, and I really love being outside. And Here's just a nice classic song, and it's nice and waily, and it's about, a complicated love affair, and it just seems like such a good rainy day song. That's why I picked it.
I like the song because it's repetitive and it doesn't go anywhere. Precisely why I like it. I'm actually like really into this. Bowie's been kind of hit or miss for me, but this song actually really, really felt like in my zone.
Had you not heard this before?
I have not. I've listened to very little David Bowie.
Oh man, you should just start with this album.
My father has very problematic feelings about certain artists, as you can imagine. So mostly in that anything after the 1970s was a mistake.
Hold, please.
Even though did David Bowie make music in the 70s?
This song came out in 1977. Yes.
Well, Anyway, cut that. We'll just cut that out.
No, I'm keeping it. It's staying in.
Oh, dig dag. But no, this is super sick. I would listen to it. It definitely feels different from our two songs, but I definitely feel this is like a more up tempo rainy song. Like you're just kind of like, hell yeah, I'm playing a board game. It's kind of like instead of staring out the window, I'm like, just kind of spending my time doing stuff. And also happens to be raining.
Oh, see, I'm the other way around. I think, like Sean, Heroes is one of those songs that exists in its own place. And not in a bad way. I think it's a great pick for this because when Heroes comes on, I feel like I stop whatever else I'm doing and listen to it. Like, it's just such a good song. It's so good in every way. Like, it's beautiful lyrically. It has that droney quality that we were talking about. That, like, it just kind of goes and goes and goes without really going anywhere, but still somehow managing to be interesting.
Right. Which
is kind of the influence of Brian Eno on this record. This is where Bowie starts playing with ambient music with Brian Eno on the latter half of this record. It's a really interesting song. It's complicated, but it's like deceptively simple. It does a lot for me. I really love this song. It's a song that gets covered a lot, and it's interesting that you picked it this week because I just finished Stranger Things season 3. Which ends with a cover of this song.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Like the closing montage includes a cover of Heroes.
Is it the Motorhead cover?
It is not the Motorhead cover.
Dang.
I think it's actually the Peter Gabriel cover.
Oh, awkward.
It's a surprisingly minimal, like acoustic guitar driven cover, which is a nice emotional ending for a TV series. But yeah, this is a classic song. I think it's great for a rainy day. I love listening to classic records on rainy days because, like you said, you have the time to sit through them. And Heroes is a long record. This song, like you said, it's 6 minutes long. So you don't have anywhere else to be. You might as well sit down and listen to Heroes.
So what you're telling me is I need to listen to this. What's the album this is on?
It's called Heroes.
Oh. All right. So what you're saying is I need to listen to Heroes. Okay. Because I'm actually really intrigued by the Brian Eno collab because I think that would create a lot of results that I would like. Never listened to Brian Eno on purpose either.
It does. He did 3 Brian Eno collabs in that period they're affectionately referred to as the Berlin Trilogy because Bowie was mostly living in Berlin when he made them. So if you want to start, you should start with those 3. I think it's Low, The Lodger, and Heroes.
What's a Brian Eno album I should listen to?
Oh, that's a lot more complicated. I mean, do you want rock and roll Brian Eno or do you want ambient Brian Eno? Do you want Brian Eno producing Talking Heads? Do you want Brian Eno and Roxy music? Like, you have a lot of options. I would say if you have never listened to anything Brian Eno's ever made before and you want to understand kind of what he does, you should listen to Ambient One Music for Airports or Another Green Planet, which are very different records, but I feel like those are kind of the 2 sides of Brian Eno, and they'll help you understand who he is.
And speaking of deep cuts, and Brian Eno, does anybody have some good B-sides this week for alternative rainy day songs to listen to?
Surprisingly, no Brian Eno in my B-sides. I had another Moby track, Sunday, the day before my birthday, which was just a little too sad for the playlist, but it is a very beautiful song that is also kind of about rain. Time Moves Slow by Bad Bad Not Good, featuring Sam Harrington, and Lost Cause by Beck.
I had a few different things. Showing up on the B list once again, La Di Da by Eveline. One of these days, it's gonna get it on there. It's gonna get on the list. That was a song that I specifically have a distinct memory of listening to while it was raining. Like I was driving around and I heard that song. I was like, "Ooh, this is." But it's a little dissonant at some points. Like it's a little hard to listen to and to feel sad. I also had "The House of Heaven Built" by Japan Droids, "Stay Useless" by Cloud Nothings, "Miss Beneath Your Apartment" by City Girl. Such Great Heights by Postal Service. The second pick. I was always gonna pick it. Tom's Diner. Suzanne Vega.
Why did I not pick that? I should have picked that. I love that song.
Oh, well now I'm upset that I didn't pick Tom's Diner.
I think we're all just upset that we didn't pick Tom's Diner.
And 1979 by the Smashing Pumpkins, but I can't touch Smashing Pumpkins because that's Sean's band.
Thanks, Tyler. So this week, got a few B-sides. Rebellion by Arcade Fire. I think really any Arcade Fire is just a good rainy day listen to band. I mean, you can't really go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was going to say, the one about tunnels. I forget which one that is. It's like Neighborhood 2 Tunnels, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
That would be a good one, too.
Just go listen to The Suburbs on a rainy day. It'll resonate with you. You'll be like, wow, that's right. I also have Darling by Real Estate. I really like that song. They're kind of a cool band anyway. The music video is really funny too. They have a horse that runs into stuff, and it's just cute because I think horses are my number one most misunderstood animal. And then lastly,
wait, what?
Just let that die, Tyler. Just let that die. Just walk away from it.
No, you're right. I said nothing.
And then my one that I would have picked, but it's a little bit too cliche for this one, is Maps by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. It's just such a good rainy day song.
That's another one of those songs that one of these days it's going to get on this playlist.
That's a good pick.
Well, Tyler, if people want to sit around and drink coffee with you on a rainy day, where can they do that?
I hadn't even considered coffee. You can find me at Design Illustration, work at RootPets.club, and of course you can always find me on the socials as Root Pets Club on Instagram and Twitter.
Besides staring out of your window in a state of pensive bliss, where can people find you?
Can find me on Instagram at TallySean.
And we can talk about Moby or Brian Eno or whatever else you want on Twitter at TC Olmstead. And if you like what we do here at No Repeat, you should check out the No Repeat playlist. It's on both Apple Music and Spotify, and it has every song we've ever picked for the show. Thanks so much for listening, everybody, and we'll be back next week with 3 more songs on another episode of No Repeat.